So who's going to be scoring touchdowns in the preseason? Will Ashton Genty be getting carries of the rock when it comes to preseason action as a rookie? Or will they save the thread on those tires for once it actually counts in the regular season? I know my guest here in the first hour might be coming out to a preseason game in Las Vegas. I know he was out here for one of them, but he hasn't missed a regular season game for the Raiders. What, Brian, in the last 3 years? Brian from All In Autumn Wind on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. He's joining us here today on the JT the Brick Show. What's the streak at right now, Brian, of regular season games?
Harry, my guy, it's at 56 games in a row.
56 games in a row. That's amazing. That's great. And I hope that streak stays alive for a while. But Brian, for somebody that travels to as many games as you do, how important is tomorrow for you? Because I know a lot of people that travel to a lot of games, but to every game, I know just you. How important is tomorrow for you?
It's so exciting, so much anticipation. You know, before I started this journey, the schedule release was something that was just, it was cool. Okay, that's where we're playing, and I'll think about it in a few months. But now it's critical for, timing things with family. And, of course, the cold weather games are of a concern because I've been to really cold games before. So, yeah, it's very exciting. It's like Christmas.
Yeah, so I was talking in the first segment, what do I have right now that I'm looking for ahead of tomorrow? I'm looking at how many primetime games the Raiders are going to be playing, because last year we only had one. Some folks counted that Kansas City game. I honestly didn't. How many are you counting? Are you thinking that the Raiders might get now, Brian?
I don't think it's going to be that many because of our record. We only had 4 wins, right? So typically they don't reward you with primetime games. So maybe I'm guessing 2 or 3.
2 or 3, and you know what? The Raiders teased us yesterday on social media. They posted a video of a little pony walking in front of a desk, a lady working in that desk, and they said, Mondays, am I right? And I'm like, okay, hold on. So does that mean we're playing a Monday Night Football game against the Donkeys, against the Broncos?
That's got to be. I think the only question is that in Denver or is that in Vegas?
True. And here's the deal, though, also. And it has to be week 1, in my opinion, because you're looking at the season opener, which has been announced already. Eagles, Cowboys. That's a divisional game. You look over at the highly rumored and reported week 1 game in Sao Paulo in Brazil, which still hasn't been announced. But it seems like it's going to be Chargers-Chiefs, a divisional game. So, Raiders, Broncos, if that happens, I feel like week 1 would be great. And the Raiders last year, the schedule was so unbalanced with a lot of home games towards the end of the season. I hope we get to enjoy week 1 at home this season in the first week of September. That would be great, Brian.
If it's week 1, I hope it's in Denver, because that would mean that it's not going to be cold in Denver.
And if you go to every single game, that's something very true. You look at cold weather games, Washington, Philadelphia, New England, Kansas City, Denver. I skipped it over, but that's a very cold weather game. In Indianapolis, fortunately, it's indoors, but you're enjoying the tailgates and filming and everything. You've been to Indianapolis, what, now, twice?
Twice, yeah. And in fact, Indy has a game in Germany this year, and I was really hopeful that we were going to get that one as our away game to Indy, partially because going to Indy 3 times, but also, I really wanted that Germany game, man. There's so many Raider fans in Germany. I think it just would have been fantastic. But I'm hearing it's not us.
Yeah, that one actually has already been confirmed by the league. It's going to be Atlanta facing the Colts in Germany, in Berlin. So that one's out of the window. I actually know a lot of folks from the Wrecking Crew. They're out there enjoying Claudio's birthday. So they're out there in Germany, and they were hoping that there would be a big announcement with the Raiders involved, and that's not the case. Brazil, that one's still kind of in the books, but apparently it's going to be the Chiefs, the one facing the Chargers out there. And look, I was trying to convince myself too here on the radio yesterday. The Raiders, they've played the Colts on the road 19, 21, 23. It's going to be the 7th year in a row that the Raiders play the Cowboys. The Indianapolis Colts. So I was like, you know what? Maybe they would be encouraged to be like, all right, we've had the Raiders a couple of times here. It's time to go bring another fan base to another place. And that doesn't seem to be the case. Out of these places, which one have you not gone to? Chargers, Denver, Houston, Kansas City, Washington, Indianapolis, Philly, and New England?
This year year's a treat. There's actually 3 that I haven't been to, and that is New England Patriots, Houston Texans, and the reigning champs, the Eagles.
So you've heard about how rowdy Eagles fans get, and not in a good way. What are you expecting out of that game?
Yeah, I've heard that, but you hear a lot of things, and like, to be honest, I think you bring some energy into it, and I'm sure the Philly fans bring a certain energy, but you come in there to a tailgate to an opposing team with the right attitude, you're not going to have problems. They don't just I'm sure it happens here and there, but they don't randomly it's going to be fine. I got a lot of Philly friends, actually. There's quite a few here in L.A. I've gotten to know, and that Philly sports guy, the guy with the mohawk.
Yes, sir.
His face. He's fantastic, so I feel all right. Honestly, I'm more worried about the cold than I am the fans. I mean, we got 8 games, and 6 of them are potentially cold, It's really tough. But I tell you, Harry, that Brazil game, I'm going to tell you why it was never going to be the Raiders, because I live in L.A., and I was talking to a guy that works at SoFi, and he said it's not going to be the Raiders because the stadium and the league, those games do so well in L.A. with all of the Raider fans showing up. They would never move a Raider-Chargers game somewhere else.
Yeah, and they did that. I think the Steelers are going into town, and the Eagles are going into town against the Chargers, and they haven't played there before at SoFi with the Chargers as a home team, so they protected them too, and that left the door open to having a divisional game out there in Brazil. And you know what? I thought it would have been fantastic for the Silver and Black. It's actually fantastic for any team that gets to play these kind of games because they get to expand their brand at a different country. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case for the Raiders this year. Brian Fowler from All in Autumn Wind is our guest here right now on the JT The Brick Show. When you look at these home games, 9 home games, you got the Cowboys coming in. They're going to be new ones. Is there another one that catches your eye? Because with the Raiders being in 4th place last year, they're going to be hosting a handful of teams that ended up in 4th place in their divisions as well.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you look at the records of these teams, and they're not so hot. Very, very similar to ours. But the one I'm actually looking at is the Giants, because I just feel like, man, this Genty Saquon matchup might be really fun to watch.
Well, that's going to be the Eagles, because Saquon is over at the Eagles, but the Giants is a former team of Saquon Barkley, and you know what? They got a couple of good pieces in this offseason, and it's going to be interesting too. You're going to get Russell Wilson against Pete Carroll, which
you did a great job covering my mistake there. I'm still living in 2022. Sorry about that, Harry.
No, it's okay. Hey, he was a draft pick in 2018. And he had been with them until last year when he went over to Philadelphia, which I still feel like it was a huge mistake from the Giants letting Saquon Barkley go. So you're connected with all of the Raider Nation all around the country, then tens of thousands of followers and views on all social medias. Which trip has the best experience for Raider fans going in? Because you've been there before, to Denver, to Kansas City. Obviously, you live in L.A., but if you had, like, for example, if you've heard, hey, we're going to get lit in Philadelphia with all the Raider Nation that is here and the one that's coming in, or have you heard that from Houston, which I know Space City Raider Nation, they're going to be great hosts out there in H-Town. Is there a trip that you are waiting for the most because you've heard that those parties on Friday, Saturday are going to be off the hook?
I think Philly and D.C. are going to be crazy. D.C. in particular, because there are several booster clubs in that area, from Baltimore, D.C., even a little further, New York, that will converge, and I think that's going to be remarkable.
Hey, East Coast.
The only thing that D.C. the hard thing about D.C. is the stadium's so far out of town; it's a little tricky to get to, and I went to that stadium in 2017. It was remember the kneeling game?
Yeah.
When the players were kneeling,
there's
a whole discussion. Yeah, I was at that game. It was a very strange experience, but yeah, there's a lot of Raider fans out there, so those are going to be big.
Yeah, no, I know DJ Mike Scott. He's originally from Philadelphia. He more than likely is going to be going to that game. He used to be the president of the Black Hole Philly, and now he's out here in Las Vegas. So I know there's a lot of fans. Heck, I got on Instagram right now watching us live. Moises Inares, the play-by-play announcer in Spanish for the Washington Commanders. He's watching. He says Commanders all day. Man, I hope the Raiders are able to go out there and give a big surprise. But, man, I'm happy for you that finally this wait is going to end, because usually May you get decent prices for September, October, November, December when it comes to flights, hotels, rental cars, and you need all of that. Now, the big question, I don't know. I saw your draft piece, which we will be talking about in a little bit. Have you made an announcement about 2025, Brian?
Oh, I have not made an announcement. And I would love to announce something here, but I'm working on something for this season that could be a little different. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to say quite yet.
Okay, you got some rights going out there, and you know what? It might be your wife, the one that's saying, "Hey, hold on a little bit. Let's wait and see." Shout out to your lady; she's amazing. I've known her for a couple of years now. Shout out to your family too. That you guys were awesome at the tailgate that I stopped by. That your family was out there as well. And heck, I met your high school football coach or middle school? What was it?
That's right. Yeah, Coach Graybell.
Yeah, you had the whole family out here in Las Vegas. So, okay, no announcement yet. We will hopefully get something soon, but the draft experience. I saw your blog. You had Roger Goodell walking right next to you in your blog. How was Green Bay for you and all the fans that were out there, the hundreds and thousands of fans?
It was amazing. I shook Goodell's hand, and I actually thought, oh no, am I going to get in trouble with Raider Nation? But the draft has become, I've gone to the last two, last year in Detroit and this year in Green Bay, and the draft for me has become this unexpected thing that now I think I really look forward to in a different way. Part of it's because it's during the off season and I just need something. But man, if you haven't been to a draft, anyone out there, if you're able to do it, I would strongly recommend it because it's such a different experience. It's incredible.
And I mean, it was awesome seeing you interact with fans from every team. And like you said, if you go with a positive mindset, everybody is friendly with you, and even friendly trash talking. You with that Seahawks fan, I really enjoyed her saying, "It's like, yeah, but how did that game go out there in Las Vegas?" It's like, come on, it was preseason. That don't count. And all that, it's friendly banter. And most fans, if you don't cross a line and you just keep it a buck, keep it 100, you're good. You're having a good time. And I love seeing that from your videos.
The interesting thing about the draft, it's unlike a game where you have two teams and two fan bases going against each other and everybody's getting all tense and serious. But like the draft experience is far more relaxed and everybody's just there together. And even when you see like a Chargers Chiefs fan, it just, it's like everybody's there for the same reason and they're just there to have a good time. There's not a competitive edge. It's not people getting in each other's faces. And that's what's really amazing because you truly do see people from every single team.
And next year, if I recall correctly, Kansas City, and then after that, D.C. So this is a touring situation now all over the league that Las Vegas has already been a part of the rotation. I still hope they come back to Las Vegas, but instead of having it behind the link, they actually do it on the Strip. I mean, if you stop the Strip for a week with Formula One, why not do it for the NFL?
Oh, my gosh, that would be incredible. Next year's Pittsburgh. We did KC a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yes, Pittsburgh, I mean, hopefully the weather isn't bad out there. And then D.C., same case. Both locations, both great fan bases. Not as good as Raider Nation, but hopefully it's a great thing to do. Brian, please tell the folks where they can find you on social media, where they can follow all of your blogs. And look, even if you haven't seen Brian's content yet, go to week 1 of whichever season he has done out of the last 3 and be like, okay, this is the one where I want to start. And you just keep going game after game after game. And it's like living the season all over again.
So All In Autumn Wind is the channel. You can find me on YouTube. I post a lot of shorts and reels on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. So all of the socials, All In Autumn Wind. And, Harry, I can't thank you enough for everything. You were rocking my hat in one of your podcasts recently. I really appreciate it, man.
Of course, brother. Hey, you hooked me up with it. I really like the hat. You got some really cool gear. Check him out with that as well. Follow Brian Fowler, All In Autumn Wind. Anything else you would like to say to the Raider Nation, Brian?
Raiders.
There you go. That's a perfect way to close it out. Thank you to Brian Fowler. Check him out on social media. Check out his channel, All In Autumn Win.
Yeah, this All In Autumn Win. The Raider Nation's what we represent. It's a commitment to excellence. And even if we don't get the W this week, still I document it all, cause I love to do my thing. Bass bumping through the street with a silver and black vibe. We pre-game, tailgate, and bang this at halftime. All In Autumn Win. We gotta win. Yeah, this All In Autumn Win. We gotta win.
So dumb.
All in, autumn win. I like that, my guy right there. Right.
Yeah.